In the digital age, the power to sway public opinion rests heavily on those who command the attention of the masses. Public personalities, particularly those critical of governments and ideologies, wield significant influence in shaping political discourse. Understanding their motives is paramount for navigating the complex landscape of contemporary politics. This essay delves into the multifaceted motivations behind such critiques, exploring the interplay of personal background, media amplification, and the pursuit of influence. By unraveling these intricate dynamics, we can cultivate a more informed and discerning citizenry. Public figures who challenge authority are driven by a spectrum of motivations, ranging from altruistic aspirations to self-serving ambitions. Some are genuinely committed to exposing injustice and advocating for positive change. They may be driven by a strong moral compass, a deep-seated belief in democratic values, or a personal history marked by experiences of oppression or inequality. Their critiques stem from a desire to hold power accountable and create a more just society. For these individuals, dissent is an act of social responsibility, a means of amplifying marginalized voices, and a catalyst for progress. Others may be motivated by personal gain or political aspirations. Criticism of the government can serve as a platform for building a public profile, attracting followers, and advancing one's career. In some cases, critiques may be rooted in opportunism, aiming to exploit public sentiment for political leverage. The pursuit of fame, influence, and power can become intertwined with the act of dissent, blurring the lines between genuine concern and calculated ambition. It is crucial to recognize that motives are rarely singular. They often exist on a spectrum, with elements of idealism and pragmatism intermingling. It is essential to avoid simplistic generalizations and recognize the nuanced nature of individual motivations. While some critics may be driven by a genuine desire for positive change, others may harbor ulterior motives. Discerning these motivations requires careful examination of their actions, words, and the broader context within which they operate. The media plays a pivotal role in shaping public discourse, acting as a megaphone for the voices of dissent. Traditional media outlets, such as newspapers, television channels, and radio stations, have long served as platforms for disseminating information and shaping public opinion. However, the rise of digital media has fundamentally transformed the landscape, providing unprecedented reach and immediacy to those who seek to challenge authority. Social media platforms, online forums, and independent news websites have empowered individuals to bypass traditional gatekeepers and directly engage with the public. This democratization of information has created opportunities for greater transparency and accountability. Citizen journalists, bloggers, and activists can now report on events, share perspectives, and mobilize public support in ways that were previously unimaginable. The amplified reach of digital media can galvanize social movements, expose corruption, and hold those in power accountable. However, this unfiltered access to information also presents challenges. The spread of misinformation, propaganda, and hate speech has become a serious concern. The echo chamber effect, where individuals are primarily exposed to information that confirms their existing beliefs, can exacerbate polarization and hinder constructive dialogue. The media's role in amplifying dissent is a double-edged sword. While it can empower voices of change and foster greater transparency, it also carries the risk of spreading misinformation and fueling polarization. Navigating this complex landscape requires media literacy, critical thinking, and a discerning approach to consuming information. Dhruv, Rathee, an Indian YouTuber and political commentator, has emerged as a prominent voice of dissent in recent years. His videos, which often critique government policies, social issues, and political figures, have garnered millions of views and sparked widespread debate. Rathee's critiques, delivered in a direct and often confrontational style, resonate with a young, digitally savvy audience. His popularity underscores the growing influence of independent online commentators in shaping public discourse. Rathee's critics accuse him of bias, selective reporting, and a lack of journalistic rigor. They argue that his videos often present a one-sided narrative, neglecting to acknowledge complexities or alternative perspectives. Some accuse him of harboring political ambitions, using his platform to advance a particular ideology. Rathee's supporters, however, praise his courage, his commitment to exposing injustice, and his ability to connect with a generation disillusioned with traditional politics. They view him as a much-needed counter-narrative to mainstream media, which they perceive as being beholden to corporate interests or government influence. The controversy surrounding Rathee highlights the complex dynamics of online political commentary. As independent voices gain prominence, questions of bias, accountability, and the ethical responsibilities of online influencers come to the forefront. Throughout history, individuals have challenged authority, risking their reputations and livelihoods to speak truth to power. From Socrates' relentless questioning of Athenian norms to Mahatma Gandhi's Satyagraha movement, history is replete with examples of individuals whose critiques catalyzed social change. These figures, often driven by a deep sense of moral conviction and a belief in the power of ideas, faced persecution, imprisonment, and even death for their dissent. Their stories serve as potent reminders of the courage and sacrifices required to challenge established norms and advocate for a more just world. The motives of these historical figures were as diverse as their contexts. Some, like Martin Luther King Jr., were driven by a profound faith and a commitment to racial equality. Others, like Nelson Mandela, were motivated by a desire to dismantle oppressive systems and achieve political liberation. Still others, like Galileo Galilei, were propelled by a thirst for knowledge and a refusal to conform to dogma. Despite their differences, these figures shared a common thread, a willingness to confront power, challenge prevailing narratives, and advocate for a better future. Understanding the historical context of dissent provides valuable insights into the motivations of contemporary critics. By studying the struggles and triumphs of those who came before, we can gain a deeper appreciation for the complexities of dissent and the enduring relevance of its themes in the digital age. The phenomenon of public figures criticizing governments and ideologies transcends national boundaries. In countries around the world, individuals are leveraging the power of media to challenge authority, expose injustice, and advocate for change. From Ai Weiwei's critiques of the Chinese government to Alexei Navalny's opposition to Vladimir Putin's regime, examples abound of individuals who are using their platforms to hold power accountable. These critiques often come at a significant personal cost, with individuals facing censorship, imprisonment, or even violence for their outspokenness. The motives behind these critiques are as diverse as the context in which they arise. Some are driven by a desire to protect human rights and democratic values. Others are motivated by concerns about corruption, economic inequality, or environmental degradation. Still others are fueled by a sense of patriotism and a desire to see their country live up to its ideals. Regardless of their specific motivations, these individuals share a common commitment to challenging the status quo and advocating for a more just and equitable world. Examining critiques of power from a global perspective reveals the universality of dissent and its role in holding governments accountable. It underscores the importance of protecting freedom of expression and ensuring that individuals can voice their critiques without fear of reprisal. The personal backgrounds and beliefs of public figures play a crucial role in shaping their critiques of governments and ideologies. Their upbringing, education, life experiences, and cultural influences all contribute to their worldview and inform their perspectives on political issues. Individuals who have experienced oppression, discrimination, or economic hardship may be more likely to challenge systems of power and advocate for social justice. Their critiques may stem from a deep-seated empathy for the marginalized and a desire to create a more equitable society. Similarly, individuals who have been exposed to diverse perspectives through education, travel, or personal interactions may be more inclined to question established norms and embrace critical thinking. Their critiques may reflect a nuanced understanding of complex issues and a willingness to engage with differing viewpoints. Conversely, individuals who have been raised in insular environments or exposed to limited information may be more susceptible to dogma and less likely to challenge authority. Their critiques may be rooted in fear, prejudice, or a lack of understanding of alternative perspectives. Recognizing the interplay of background and belief is essential for understanding the motivations behind political critiques. It reminds us that critiques are not formed in a vacuum, but are shaped by the sum of an individual's experiences and values. In today's information-saturated world, discerning credible political commentary from biased or misleading content can be a daunting task. The proliferation of online platforms, the rise of social media influencers, and the increasing sophistication of propaganda techniques have created a complex and often confusing landscape. Navigating this maze requires a critical eye, a healthy dose of skepticism, and a willingness to engage with diverse perspectives. One crucial step is to consider the source of the information. Is it a reputable news organization with a track record of accuracy and impartiality? Is it an independent commentator with a known agenda or bias? Is it a government-controlled entity with a vested interest in promoting a particular narrative? Understanding the motivations and potential biases of the source can help you assess the credibility of the information presented. Another important step is to cross-reference information from multiple sources. Don't rely solely on one news outlet or commentator for your understanding of political events. Seek out diverse perspectives, including those that may challenge your own preconceived notions. By comparing and contrasting different accounts, you can gain a more comprehensive and nuanced understanding of the issues at hand. Developing media literacy skills is paramount in the digital age. By honing your ability to critically evaluate information, you can become a more informed and discerning consumer of political commentary. The influence wielded by public figures who critique governments and ideologies has profound implications for shaping public opinion and, consequently, the political landscape. Their words can sway public sentiment, mobilize support for specific causes, and impact electoral outcomes. This power can be used for good, as seen in movements for social justice, environmental protection, and democratic reform. However, it can also be misused to spread misinformation, incite hatred, and undermine democratic institutions. The stakes are particularly high in countries with fragile democracies or a history of political instability. In such contexts, inflammatory rhetoric or unsubstantiated accusations can have a destabilizing effect, fueling social unrest and violence. The rise of populism and nationalist movements in recent years has underscored the vulnerability of democratic systems to manipulation, and the ease with which public opinion can be swayed by charismatic leaders or emotionally charged narratives. Understanding the impact of political commentary on public opinion is crucial for safeguarding democratic values and promoting responsible discourse. It underscores the need for media literacy, critical thinking, and a discerning approach to consuming political content. In an era defined by information overload and the proliferation of online platforms, understanding the motives behind critiques of governments and ideologies is paramount for cultivating informed citizenship. By carefully examining the interplay of personal background, media amplification, and the pursuit of influence, we can develop a more nuanced understanding of the forces shaping political discourse. This understanding empowers us to critically evaluate information, discern credible sources from biased ones, and engage in constructive dialogue. As citizens, we have a responsibility to be informed, engaged, and discerning consumers of information. We must resist the allure of simplistic narratives, embrace complexity, and seek out diverse perspectives. By cultivating media literacy, critical thinking, and a commitment to truth-seeking, we can navigate the complex landscape of contemporary politics and contribute to a more just and informed society. The future of our democracies hinges on our ability to discern, analyze, and engage with information responsibly. It is through informed citizenship that we can ensure that the power of influence is used to promote progress, not division and discord.